All right, we are on Monday's practice round. Monday's qualifying AKA practice round in the rookie division in this 2020 St. Patrick's Day tournament. And this is going to be this is going to be one of those types of tournaments. It's some tournaments are pretty easy to figure out, like what the minimum scores are, like what's our goal here. So the thing with this tournament is normally we start off with -12 because on most tournaments you're looking for just for minimum score. Birdies on the par threes, birdies on the par fours, eagles on the par five. So that equals -12. Hole number nine is a super tough eagle, and that drops us down to -11. So when we talk about minimum score, -11. But on this particular tournament, we have 2 par threes that are very hole-in-oneable. And we have 3 par fours that you can get into short iron range. And one of them you could potentially get into wedge range, max wedge, where we've got 3 par fours that we could potentially pick up a shot. And we've got 2 par threes that we could potentially pick up a shot. So just thinking of the par fours and not thinking of the par threes. If you pick up the par fours, there's 3 shots. And hole number 9, which is why we're dropped down to this right here to 11, there is a way to get an eagle on there. And so even though I'm in my low level account, my 99 account with T4 clubs, my goal going in is -15 aside. I want to pick up all 3 of those par fours, and I want to pick up hole number 9. And then if I can pick up either one of those par threes, then just more power to me. I'm not even counting the par fives, because with the lower level stuff, we have shots on these par fives, but with lower developed stuff, you gotta go through and look at the holes and see, like, where can you shine. And where we can shine with this lower level account is when we can get into short iron range, because the one club in the bag here that's got some ball guide in it and some accuracy is that short iron. And so if I can get myself into the short iron range, I have just as good a chance with this account as I do with my upper developed account on the 3 par fours and the 2 par threes. The 2 par threes are rough bumps. So we have some opportunities here. So I think, like, going into it, like looking at minimum score, our minimum is -11. We really want to strive, like my goal being -15 for the weekend round. And I'd like to, this is where I'm trying to shoot to, because this score right here could potentially get you in the weekend round. A -22 could potentially get you into the weekend round. But if you're looking to get towards the top and you want to get a top 10, or you're looking for a banner, you're going to have to pick up some of those shots. And the thing is that we have a ton of opportunities to pick those shots up. And there's great opportunities, even if you've got lower developed stuff. That's one of the cool things about this. Really, upper developed clubs have an advantage on the par fives. But even hole 9, doesn't matter whether you have upper or lower developed clubs, it's still going to be a tough hole to get that eagle unless we can figure out a way to do it. And I have a way to get that eagle. So somewhere between -11 and -15 is where we really want to be. Ideally, like if you're setting yourself a goal, -13 would be a great goal, right in between. That gets you in the 26. That's probably, in a lot of brackets, going to get you, a top 20, maybe even a top 15 in a lot of brackets. But if you're really trying to go for the win, you're going to have to be looking at -15, maybe even plus, just depending on the bracket that you're in. So today is all about, I have 0 notes for this account. So today is all about trying to figure out what clubs and what ball to bring. When I get on these holes, there's a couple of the holes in this tournament that I know, like, we do a little bit of a wind adjustment, but there's a bunch of holes in this tournament I have no idea. And so today I don't really care. I'm not worried about wind adjustments today. Today is about what ball and what club am I bringing to each one of these holes, so that I can set up notes. And I know that tomorrow when I get on this hole, hey, I'm bringing this club and I'm bringing this ball. And now I can start trying to take a look at wind adjustments. I'm going to hit just normal wind adjustments where the ball, where it's at least for today, maybe even for tomorrow. And then as the week goes on, once I get that figured out, like what ball, where I'm going, what distances I'm looking for, what's my second club, once I get that figured out so that I know how I want to play the hole, then I'm going to start working on wind adjustments, because it doesn't help if you're going out there in the practice round and you're trying to do a bunch of things all at once. You're trying to make, that may not, wherever you're at, that may not be where you're, the spot that you're going to be in later on in the week. So if you're trying to do wind adjustments in one spot and then you change your spot because there's a better spot out there, the effort that you put in it you're not gonna get anything from it. So and I'm a guy, come on, man, we're guys, one thing at a time. We can do one thing at a time. We can do it really well. This first hole right here, I have no idea. When I look at risk versus reward, when I go through the holes, this is one of those par threes. And then in the last tournament that this was in, the only tournament, the Celtic Cup, this hole right here ate my lunch. I'm not going to say it ruined my round, but it surely didn't help because I ended up with 2 pars on this hole. And I went out of my way trying not to get a par and ended up rolling off on this side right here. And once you get any kind of movement going in the left-hand direction and you engage this fringe, you're engaging the rough. And so this is one of those holes that can eat your lunch. So if you're having any problems at all on this hole, quit thinking around with trying to go for the cup and just lay it up over here on the right-hand side. But we can do well on this hole. But for me, this is a hole that could eat your lunch if you don't get it right. And depending on what level your clubs are, as far as ball guide, where you can walk it up in there, if you start hitting it not perfect, this hole could cause problems. So I'm not going to get super aggressive on this hole. And we're coming in with a long iron. My long iron choices are Backbone. And let's see where my Grim Reaper's at. It's got a little more backspin, but no topspin. But I don't think we're engaging this with topspin. Ball guide's really important here. So I got 3-4 ball guide in the Backbone. 3-4 backbone ball guide in my Saturn. I like the Saturn accuracy at 51, so it's basically 2 per ring, so it's pretty easy to work it out. And it's 2, where is my Saturn? It's 3.5 is the way I'm going to work my rings on there, depending on where I'm at in my club. And I think it seems like I shot this the other day and I did like a mid number in it, and I should have just used a max number. I'm going to go at most of these holes and just play the max number, take out the normal wind adjustment, really kind of focus on trying to hit perfect today. And then the wind adjustment's not as important because that is something that I will work as the week goes on. I'm not the guy that comes in at the beginning of the week and says, okay, here's all the stuff. I like to progress my game as the week goes on and learn how to set it up with the stuff that I have. So I think a Backbone might be the way. A little better ball guide with the B52. A little better accuracy. If we're running it up there, I'm not sure if that might be enough, but I'm gonna try my Backbone out first. And I'm gonna try my Saturn out first. That gives me a few more. And the Backbone gives us a little bit better distance. I'm going to try my Backbone out. We'll try a Backbone. Ball-wise, I have no idea. So I'm going to bring a Navigator to try and cut the wind down. Just help me out a little bit right there. Really, I didn't catch this hole but a few times in the practice session over the last few days. So I have really kind of no idea. I've come at this hole in the past trying to do backspin, and it's hard to get the ball lined up unless you're going to just shoot off to the right. It's hard to get up there and get at it. So I'm going to try and run it up there. And today it doesn't matter. This is the cool thing about a practice day is that if you epic fail on a practice day doing something, seeing like what is or isn't possible, that's all right. It's practice. It kind of feels weird if you haven't practiced before and you haven't done this, where you're just going out and you're not trying to qualify today. You're just taking a look at the holes and you're seeing what's possible. You almost have to remind yourself that, hey, today is just practice. Because you can very easily find yourself, trying to win these holes, and then you're just like, damn, I'm in the qualification zone. So they've got one backspin on, 1.5, 1 1/3. I don't know what that wind adjustment was. They moved over about 1/4, 1/3 of a ring. That was it. Isn't it perfect? That should end up to the right. And that's what I'm saying on this hole is that if you're having any problems, just shoot it off to the right there. Get your birdie and move on to the holes that you can pick something up. You don't have to get aggressive on every single hole out here. We have lots of opportunities. That seems like too much. I'll put just a sliver of topspin. I want to see how it rolls out. 3.7. It's 1.4 per ring, so there's 2.8. 2.8 and 7 is 3.5. Hitting it perfect. That was a little bit of an underpull. And you can see when it rolls there how if it has just a rot, watch. Oh, I got lucky. And that was actually probably a little teeny bit of an underpull. So it's 1.4 per ring, so 2 rings is 2.8, and then I did half a ring, which is 7, so that's 3.5. So that was a little teeny bit of an underpull. With just a titch of topspin, and it probably could have went the other way where I had just a titch of backspin, just to try and stop it up by the cup. This will be a hole that I'm working the whole week, but I will tell you that I'm not taking any chances at all on this hole. And I don't care if the community comes out and says, hey man, this is a surefire way to get a hole-in-one, but if you fail, you'll end up off in the rough. I don't care. I'm shooting for birdie on that hole because the other 2 par 3s have serious hole-in-one shots, and all 3 par 4s have serious eagle shots. That's 5 shots that you can pick up just on those, not including any of the par 5s or that hole. And I am not willing to risk my round on hole number 1 to try and force the issue to try and get that birdie and end up off in the rough at the very beginning of the round. It'll kill you. Number 1, it's demoralizing, so it changes your whole outlook going into the round. And number 2, you can't recover when you get a par on these par 3s. So when I think of holes that I'm willing to take risks on and holes that I'm willing to just get the minimum score, the minimum score on this hole is birdie. That's what we're looking for. And this is what I'm looking for. Is there a hole-in-one shot? You bet. But can you epic fail on this hole? Absolutely. So for me, I'm looking for the birdie on this hole. And this is a hole I'm willing to give up because I think that there's going to be a lot more people who end up with par on this hole than end up with hole-in-one. And I don't want to be in that par group. I want to be in this birdie group, which is going to be the majority of the people that play this hole. So this is definitely a hole that I'm willing to sacrifice so that on the other holes, I can really try and pick it up. All right, that was hole number 1 of the 2020 St. Patrick's Day tournament in the Monday qualifying round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.